Hey, good morning viewers. Welcome back to the Greens and Machines garden. It is a beautiful April day. You couldn't ask for any better weather. I'm going to be taking you through the garden and showing how the plants I planted back in January are doing. And I've got a few new plants that I received yesterday that I'm going to be transplanting into the garden. So stay tuned and let's do some gardening.
greensandmachines.com.
So behind me we have one part of the garden where I've got peas and arugula and radishes planted. It's been about 3 months since the arugula's been in the ground. I'll show you some pictures of when it was doing great, but as you can see now, it is well bolted. Soon we're going to be going to seed. And you know, I like saving arugula seeds. I've got a great video on how to do so because they're easy to save and they germinate pretty readily. So this is the part of the garden that you didn't see me plant on film. You got the peas here. They're finally big enough to where you can see they're starting to flower. So we're finally going to get peas after about 3 months in the ground. This is an onion that I had lying around and it was starting to grow and I threw it in the ground. And I'm starting to get a flower stalk coming up. That's excellent. So one thing about the peas, this variety, it did say you don't need support, but I disagree. I think based on how some of these are falling over, that you might want to stake these peas. That's just my opinion here. So if I were to harvest this arugula now and eat it, it'd be pretty spicy tasting. You know, I'd still enjoy eating it, but from a few months ago when I was harvesting it, it was much less spicy and it was great. Got some more pea flowers here. This one is doing good. You know, this one does not look as, well, it's kind of leaning on the ground, but it stakes a little bit. We got several nice pea flowers. That's how they come up. I believe peas are one of the few plants that actually self-pollinate. Down here, take a look at this. That's a radish. So I'm going to harvest this right now on film, and my reaction is genuinely going to be genuine as it's not come out of the ground yet. So let me go swap to third person. We've now come to third person. Let's harvest big boy here. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, maybe not as big as I thought, but there's a gorgeous radish. Look at that thing. And it looks like we have one more down here. It's kind of small. I think I'll leave it for now. Nice. You see, we got a nice new radish out of the garden, but let's talk about the new plants that I received that we can grow in this garden. So these plants all came from UC Davis's picnic day. They are very generous with the number of plants they do give away. Very popular ones are the tomatoes. They do love giving away tomatoes. This is, I got 2 plants here. This is Sun Gold. So it's a cherry tomato that produces orange fruit. One of my favorites, so I had to go for it. I'm going to be planting this into the larger blue bin I still have got lying around, so both of these will go in there. That blue bin has a high capacity, so it can support 2 tomato plants with these, especially cherry tomato plants. Here we have a strawberry plant, Albion variety, very common. I miss having strawberries. They look great, they taste great. I'm going to be throwing that into this 2-gallon bin down here. And finally, what I usually go to picnic day for and pick up are grapevines. So we have another grapevine to add to the vineyard here. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon. I'm going to be planting that into this 5-gallon former kitty litter container. So let's put some new plants in the ground, eh? So I forgot to mention before I switched to this view, there was one plant in particular that I thought was new in the picnic day giveaways I hadn't seen before. There was a booth actually giving away kiwi and, no, not kiwi, I want to say persimmon and fig trees. And I hadn't seen that before. And as soon as I saw people walking around with it, much like how usually when I'm walking around with a grapevine, people are like, hey, where'd you get that plant? I was that guy who's saying, hey, where did you get that plant? And unfortunately, by the time I figured out where to get it, they had already run out. So, kind of a blunder on my part, but you know, something to look forward to next year. So let's put the strawberry in the ground here. That'd be really cool to have a fig tree. I mean, if you want to plant a fig tree and learn more about them, leave a comment below and I'll look into it. Maybe I can find one at a gardening store. I can start planting. There we go. That's maybe the easiest transplanting. Strawberry right in the ground. Now, you could do a bit more if you're transplanting strawberries, like spread the roots out a bit more, but this will be fine. And it'll eventually start sending out runners in various directions. That's kind of why I don't want to plant it in the ground over there, because it's going to take over the entire garden bed. Okay, strawberry's done. Let's plant the grape. Now, I do have the plant I got last year. I put in a 2-gallon bucket. You can see it's starting to come back this year. This will eventually need to be transplanted to a larger container or into the ground. But for now, it can stay there as the roots develop. It's better just to leave it until it gets root bound if you need to move it to a larger container. Okay, so let's massage this out of the container. There we go. Ooh, that is a very hastily done grafting job, let me tell you that. Okay. Do that pretty good. I do need more soil because otherwise this is going to fall over. Give me a moment. Okay, we got some more. Ooh, this is some good soil. Very rich. Okay, that should hold up nice. All right, and all these two need is a little water. And next we will transplant the tomato plants. All right, here we are out back. We've got the tomato plants. We've also got the aloe vera I got from a while ago that I transplanted. Two of the three are still alive from the pups. One of them did not make it, unfortunately, as I kind of expected. So these can go right in the ground. You know, some would argue that maybe these would need a bit more time to develop, but I say the weather's going to be gorgeous out here. I'm not worried about these freezing, so they come right out. So they come out little plugs just like this. A little gentle massage. And we got one. Now for these, I like to remove the lower leaves, because tomatoes do, in fact, grow more roots from the stem, and that's why we're able to clone them so easily. So I'm going to remove a few more. So I planted it kind of horizontally, that way it's got more surface area to burrow downwards. And so that's going to go there. Eventually this will be staked. Let's do number 2 in a moment. I'm going to remove leaves from the bottom here, expose more stem, and then it's going to go into the ground kind of horizontal with, of course, the plant facing upwards. And that's how we're going to do it. Nice base, and voila, we got both tomatoes in the ground. Now I'm just going to put a little water on all these plants, and then we'll do a little recap, and that'll be a great little gardening video. Got this little watering. You know, the other grape can use some too. Take a look at this camera. Look at this little guy. It's a snail. He's someone you don't want around in your garden. He's a pest and he will eat up all your plants. So we must expel the snail. There you go. Little snail. Folks, I hope you had a fascinating experience coming back through my garden. Hope you learned something new. Folks, if you want to learn more about some of these, we got videos on planting grapes in containers, grape plants for 5-gallon buckets like tomatoes, and how to save seeds from arugula. So one of these videos will pop up at the screen here now. Click one of those if you want to learn more.